Thank you for watching us on YouTube. But did you know that if you're on the go, you can get the full show as a podcast now? You can get our morning breakdown of the most important topics facing our country, news not being covered by the mainstream media, interviews with change-making progressives, and info on what you can actually do about all this. Search for The Damage Report on your favorite podcast app and subscribe so you know when new episodes are ready to go. Another woman has come forward with allegations against Kavanaugh that are as serious as is imaginable. And it is hard to imagine how they are simply going to push past into tomorrow's hearings and then eventually hold a vote on him, get him on the Supreme Court without having any serious consideration of these new allegations that are coming forward. So let's talk about what is being alleged. A court filing by Julie Swetnick includes claims that she witnessed Kavanaugh and his friend Mark Judge regularly drinking excessively during Washington, D.C. house parties in the early 1980s, where the two men engaged in, quote, abusive and physically aggressive behavior towards girls. We have a quote from Julie Swetnick saying, "I also witnessed efforts by Mark Judge, Brett Kavanaugh, and others to cause girls to become inebriated and disoriented so that they could then be gang raped in a side room or bedroom by a train of numerous boys." And in particular, she details her own gang rape from 1982, in which she says, "During the incident, I was incapacitated without my consent and unable to fight off the boys raping me. I believe I was drugged using Quaaludes or something similar placed in what I was drinking." And she says that both Mark Judge and Brett Kavanaugh were present for that incident. I mean, there it is. That's, you can, they've attempted to put forward a lot of defenses from this happened 36 years ago and there's, a statute of limitations on morality to I was a virgin, I didn't do anything. But now these claims that he was actually participating in multiple gang rapes, including of a woman who is coming forward, says she is 100% ready to testify. That is a difficult one to just push past.
As the charges build, and it's seemingly not like one has a higher level of disgusting nature than the other, but as these build, you can see the reason why many of the people, many Republicans on the Judiciary Committee, and everyone wants to hurry this along because they knew more was coming and more of this could possibly happen. And they didn't want to have to deal with having to fend off these other allegations now. They didn't want to get to the point where they have to now defend, as you said, they can defend, oh, 36 years ago, how come you didn't do it sooner? Oh, you don't remember every detail. You don't remember what color pants he was wearing or what shoes, if they were Nike or if they were Reebok. But as it gets to things like dropping things in people's drinks, and because also, I'm sorry, the third defense is, oh, you were drinking, you were asking for, what were you wearing that night, Missy? Now when people's drinks are being, things are being dropped in their drinks, there's a slimmer and slimmer window of being able to forgive and write these off and say, hey, you were an 18-year-old guy once, weren't you? You, John, at home, you were, weren't you? You did this. The window is shrinking, and so they didn't want to have to get to this point.
Yeah.
So I'm curious now to see what approach you're going to take now to dispel these allegations.
And we certainly got a few. It's amazing the behaviors that both, obviously Brett Kavanaugh doesn't care about what he did. Donald Trump doesn't care. The Republican senators don't care. They bring out a panel of women on Fox News that don't care. We're gonna show you some stats for some of the voters that don't care. He held someone down. He put his hand over her mouth. Does that really matter? It's high school. Boys will be boys. Okay. Drugging women and then having a rape train on them. Are there still people in this country? What percentage of even Republican voters, even hard right voters, are gonna look at that and say, well, even if it's true, he should still be allowed to get on the Supreme Court?
There's a certain percentage because they don't care. It's because they go, well, okay, fine, it happened. They have gone here. Okay, fine, it happened. But they're bringing it up now because they just don't like him. He has changed. Somehow, the guys that they support can change, even though there's absolutely no evidence that they have. But they can just assume so. They've changed and they deserve to be on the Supreme Court. These rulings that you're trying to get, at least, a lot of the rulings that you want to have him come on to be another part of dropping another domino in your favor are way too important to you to shut off so many other people. Like, you're talking about worried about life. We know Roe v. Wade is one of the things they're gonna come approach. So if you're worried about life, but then other people's lives have been destroyed for decades, you don't care about that life.
Yeah.
Just because you want to now have this victory. It's one of the things you don't want, an embarrassment for your president, an embarrassment for the guy that he nominated, who was, by the way, selected by a bunch of other people.
Yeah.
So it's their selection as well. You don't want that embarrassment, so that's the only reason why you're willing to push aside all of this.
Yeah.
And You can get mad about the political possibilities of Democrats bringing this in at the last minute to make it go longer. I applaud that. Do it again. Bring him on and push this further and further, because the things that he's willing to get on the court and judge on, most American people don't agree with.
Yeah. So look, the one complicating factor of this is that for some people, the fact that Michael Avenatti is representing this woman is going to be, not preferable. I would prefer that it was some other lawyer, because I think that he's a self-promoter. I
agree.
His reputation really has nothing to do with her, though. Let's bring up this next picture. That's her. She's not anonymous. They would love that she was anonymous so that they could then say, it doesn't count because she's anonymous. That's who she is. We have quite a few details about her life. If you're interested, you can find those out. She wants to testify. She wants to stand, even though it's basically a firing line, that you would get in this Judiciary Committee. She still wants to do it. The second accuser from yesterday also wants to do it. The only people who they keep saying they want to get to the bottom of this, they want the truth, but they don't want to do anything that would actually produce that outcome, because I think they are afraid of what they would actually find. Now, if you have any remaining hope for our country, or a belief that, hey, maybe the differences that we believe we have between different segments of America's political spectrum, we can bridge them. I've got a stat that's pretty scary. As a new NPR Marist poll, 54% of Republicans say that even if these allegations against Kavanaugh are true, he should still be confirmed. Now, as far as I know, this is pre Michael Avenatti, Julie Swetnick, the gang rapes and all that. But this is including multiple different incidents, multiple women. And them more than half say, it's not that I don't believe that they're true, it's that even if they're true, who cares? Put him on the Supreme Court for the rest of his life. Give him as much power as any individual has in the world to judge the fates of others, to change the lives of others. I don't care how he has led his life.
This is the illustration of the stubborn nature of Americans. From birth, we're told to never admit you're wrong, never admit that you had a change of heart, never admit that someone that you previously trusted or believed in could violate that. Because somehow it's a slight on you to change your mind and say, you know what? I was wrong. Because as a country, we can't say, you know what? We were wrong. We shouldn't do this anymore. We should have never done that. Instead, you have to give excuses for it and say, we've gotten better magically, not by admitting to and changing things, but just by it just swept and it changed. But you can't in this moment, when you see a chance to, say, you know what? I voted for this guy. I trust everything he does, but for some reason, he's not who I thought he was. You can say that and you won't melt.
People develop these attachments to personalities and to the decisions that they made. They feel locked in. They don't want to second guess themselves. One additional detail, by the way, they keep saying that these are unsubstantiated, there's no evidence, none of that. Of course, throughout this, as we keep showing you, they don't want to get the evidence. They don't want to do anything to get the evidence. But in documents sent to the Senate Judiciary Committee, Christine Blasey Ford, the original accuser, has provided declarations from Ford's husband, Russell, and 3 friends who say that she had previously told them about this assault from Brett Kavanaugh before he was ever nominated to be on the Supreme Court. So this idea, this con game theory, this conspiracy theory, that this is all being put together to take him down. This is all coming from before that. More and more and more and more people going on the record saying that what Brett Kavanaugh and his defenders are saying is not true. We have one quote from Adela Gildan Mazzo, one of the friends, who said, this is previously, this is 2013, I believe. During our meal, Christine was visibly upset, so I asked her what was going on. Christine told me she'd been having a hard day because she was thinking about an assault she experienced when she was much younger. She said she had been almost raped by someone who is now a federal judge. She told me she had been trapped in a room with 2 drunken guys and that she had escaped, ran away, and hid. Again, that is years before he would ever be nominated to the Supreme Court.
But you will still hear people like Tucker Carlson, Sean Hannity, and your president say, she comes up with these baseless claims that no one has ever heard before now. Why didn't you say it when he was a federal judge? Why didn't you say it after it happened? Why didn't you say it to a friend? Why didn't you say it to a counselor? Why didn't you say it to a husband? All of those things happened. But if you just because you say it didn't happen, doesn't mean it didn't.
Yeah, and by the way, they keep saying, why didn't you say it then? Why didn't you say it a little bit earlier? You can go back to the morning after it happened. They're still not gonna believe these women. That's, spoiler alert, sorry if I'm spoiling American politics for you. Thank you very much for watching this clip from The Damage Report. If you liked it, don't forget to subscribe to this channel and ring the bell on YouTube to get notifications of our new videos. And of course, you can catch the full Damage Report live every weekday at 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific on TYT Network on YouTube TV.